Whoa. Had some. Am I live? I had some problems there. Shit. Am I live? Because, yeah, the Wi Fi screwed up. Damn it. I was in the middle of doing the countdown and my. All right. Well, anyways, no, bit of a flawed intro, but how we doing, people? Welcome back. Something went wrong there. I don't know what happened. I tried to connect it to a specific Wi-Fi, and then for some reason it switched right as I was starting the stream. Yeah, man. Oh my god, what a start to the show. Yep, happy Monday. That was a disaster. All right, thank you guys for joining. Appreciate you. Yeah, hit the like, people. Welcome to episode 5, the Ball Don't Lie pod. I'm gonna shout out everybody. Who is here. Anakin Skyogre had quite the night. What's up, buddy? Alex, my guy, appreciate you for tuning in. Andrew Jones, my G. Bond J, I think I got that right. Appreciate you for tuning in. Derek, obviously. Shift God, my G. Oh, we got 13 people in here. Let's go. That guy up north, debut. Yeah, man. I'm gonna try my best. You give me honest feedback. I shout out Derek. Shaquille Oatmeal, my G. Been tuning in every night. Appreciate you. Mr. Detroit City. Oh my god, we got the Amik Freak. Ryan Anson, what up, people? How we doing? How's your guys' weekend? How's the weekend? How was it? I had a good one. Went to the beach yesterday. It was fun. Watched some NFL preseason. Rams had another barn burner, 13-9. Killing it. We both got W's. Both got W's. Oh my god. Anakin Skyogre. I can't tell which one's which because I have a YouTube logo that covers up the bottom right, so I can't see which one's which. Damn. Coach Walk. What's up, brother? Appreciate you for tuning in. We got 14 people in here. Let's go. Alrighty. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is all good now. I got that Klotz Wi-Fi. Horrible. Well, I'll give a couple more minutes, then we'll start. As you can see by the title, we're going over top 10 quarterbacks, coaches, and teams that I believe are under the most pressure. What up? Appreciate you for tuning in. Can't believe we got 15 people in here. This is sick. Yeah, what's going on with CD? CD, what's happening? Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Yeah. The what are they doing? All good, bro. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Yeah, Cowboys, they're in trouble. If they don't have CD, I mean, that offense is going to be putrid if they don't have CD Lamb. Like, man, it's a rough situation for them to be in. All right, people. Just going to double check, make sure everything's set up properly. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. 16 people in here. Yeah, he keeps posting stuff on his social media that's kind of cryptic. Yeah, but remember, guys, they're all in. They're all in. They're all in. Doesn't matter how many games they win. They're just all in. Damn straight. Man, I was just thinking of that. That was so funny when he tweeted that. Skip Bayless. I was just thinking of that. That's funny. Okay. Uh, hmm. Okay. I think we are ready to get into it. Skip. Man, what a guy. Yeah, man. All right, let's get into it then. We're doing top five quarterbacks, coaches, and teams who I believe are under the most pressure to succeed in 2024. We're going to start off with the quarterbacks. Um, man, this is going to. We're bringing the chat drama into here. Oh man, 15 people. Hell yeah. Who are the Wonder who the 15 are. I wish you could see exactly who they were. Okay. So, let's get into it. Top 10. We're going to start off with quarterbacks who I believe are under the most pressure to succeed in 2024. Let's do it. Let me share the screen. We're doing it on a tier list again, by the way. Okay. Top 10 quarterbacks under the most pressure. I've zoomed in a little bit on the screen, so hopefully you guys can see it a bit better than my previous tier list that I did. So, top 10 quarterbacks who are under the most pressure heading into 2024. This may vary. For some, it's job security. For others, it's validating what they have been perceived to be. Some of them, they're playing for a contract year. It'll vary. It'll vary for sure. But number 10, I've got Aaron Rodgers at number 10. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers we know his legacy is pretty much secure. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champion. This isn't about the legacy with Aaron Rodgers, but I do think that he has left a lot on the table. He has 4 consecutive NFC championship. His last 4 NFC championship appearances have all been losses. He didn't end his Packers career as a premium playoff performer, and now he's being thrown into a situation where he's playing for a team and a fan base that is absolutely starving just for something. And obviously, coming off that injury, if he doesn't play like Aaron Rodgers this year, this move will go down as a failure and it will go down as a little bit of a stain on his legacy. And if he wants to really progress into top 5 conversations, he needs to make another deep playoff run in New York and he needs to deliver. He needs to get back to playing like Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion. As far as obviously his whole career, he doesn't have much to prove. He's Aaron Rodgers, but I'm saying in order for him to validate what the Jets have wanted in him, I think he needs to deliver. Number 9, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has definitely a lot to prove this year, mainly because it's been a while since we've seen him play like the Kyler Murray that the Cardinals thought that they were getting with the number 1 overall pick, right? And he needs to prove, number 1, that he can stay healthy long term because he hasn't finished a full season, I believe, since 2021. And even in that season, he had some injury issues. And secondly, he needs to prove that he can get back to Kyler Murray of 2019, 2020. And in 2021, he was in the MVP race for a lot of the season. He hasn't been that player. It's not been his fault entirely because of the injuries. But Kyler Murray needs to get back to playing like a top 10 quarterback, or else he will start to go down as a disappointing number 1 overall pick. And also have to take into account the contract. Like, he's got a lot that he needs to live up to. If Kyler Murray doesn't play at the 2021 standard we saw from Kyler, the pressure's gonna start to mount. He's really gonna not be living up to that contract and really gonna start not really living up to that. I'm not saying he has to win a lot. I'm saying he has to get back to looking like the real Kyler Murray. Number 8, I have Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, I think he definitely proved a lot last year, but I still think he does need to prove that he can obviously do it again, and he's playing for a franchise that, again, like, they need to get over the hump, fast, and they're putting a lot of faith in Brock Purdy. This is probably gonna be the last year that they have all these pieces together. So Brock Purdy needs to, and plus Brock Purdy, he's playing for a contract extension down the line. I think he needs to go out there and have another elite season, 30 touchdowns, 10 picks, like, he needs to go out there and have another good year. If his play falls off, then it will have been another year where the Niners could have won a Super Bowl wasted, and he might not. It might not result in him getting the contract, or at least the big time contract. So Brock Purdy, definitely some pressure on him. I don't think he has as much pressure as the guys above because he has already proven a lot. But I think he's got some pressure on him. He needs to prove that he's really that guy. Yeah, playing for a contract. 7, Dak Prescott. I really did think of putting him higher than this. I really did. But with Dak, I think what lowers the expectations for him is the roster isn't quite as good maybe as some of the others. Like, I think if Dak maybe struggles a bit this year, I don't think it will really. I think Dak kind of is what he is at this point. Now, as far as Dallas, as far as his future in Dallas, he's definitely playing for a contract, right? He obviously needs to show that he can do more with less, right, in order to be worthy of the $60 million record-breaking contract that he's going to get. And he needs to deliver in the playoffs. He needs to win a playoff game. Like, he needs to really start adding to his resume. But the reason I don't have him higher, if this was last year, he'd be way up there because the Cowboys had legitimate Super Bowl aspirations, right? But I don't really think they have those aspirations this year. But then again, he's playing in Dallas, so they always have delusional expectations. And if Dak doesn't play up to the standard, it's going to be talked about a lot. Is he going to stay in Dallas? Is he worthy of the contract? So Dak definitely has a lot to prove this year, in my opinion. Number 6, Tua Tagovailoa. Tua, guys like Purdy and Dak, they have to prove that they deserve another contract. Tua is near the Kyler phase where not like he hasn't done it recently, but he has to prove that he was worth the money. He's had some bad luck with injuries, but there's no excuses now. The Dolphins have paid him to go out there and win playoff games and take him to a Super Bowl. He has not done that yet. He hasn't shown that he can play a season from start to finish and really be an MVP candidate throughout the whole year. And obviously Miami are paying him a lot of money. And they're, again, a team that, hasn't had the playoff success, so fan base starving for success, right? And if Tua doesn't deliver it, there's going to be questions over that contract. And overall, just him as a player, he needs to take that next step and really assert himself as a top 10, top 12 quarterback, or else that contract will not look very good. So Tua, basically the whole premise of this is just him living up to his contract and delivering the Miami Dolphins the playoff success. Number 5, Daniel Jones. This is simply it's not because of expectations. It's not because of the Giants, they need to win a Super Bowl or anything. He's fighting for his future in the NFL as a starter, and he is fighting to justify that crazy contract that they gave him. If Daniel Jones doesn't play good this year, there's a good chance you'll never see him as a starter again. He's simply playing for his future as a starter in the NFL. This is an expectation. Like I said, there's different reasons for different guys being on the list. Daniel Jones is simply playing for his future in New York. And if he doesn't play well, they probably move on. They probably draft another quarterback because they only gave him $80 million out of the $106 million guarantee. So they can just get rid of him this year if he isn't what they think he is. So Daniel Jones is essentially playing for his entire NFL future. If he doesn't play like he did in 2022, that contract's going to look terrible, and he'll probably lose his starting job as an NFL quarterback, in my opinion. 4, Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence, you know, Trevor, this is basically this is him validating, again, like others, the contract that he got, and also validating his kind of, how do I say it? His hype, right? And he was one of the more hyped up prospects coming out. And if Trevor Lawrence doesn't deliver this season, he's going to look like a very disappointing number one overall pick. There's a lot of pressure on him. He has to have his best career season yet. There's no excuses for him. If he's this generational player, I think he needs to have his best season yet, right? And also the Jags, they've invested a lot of money into him. Similar to Tua, they've given him the big contract. He needs to go from being good to great, which was, the expectation. So I think Trevor Lawrence has a lot of pressure on him this year. A lot of pressure. I think he needs to deliver. 3, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, this is simply, this is again, they gave him the big contract, and he's playing for a fan base that, you know, it's Philly fans, right? If he doesn't go back to 2022 Jalen Hurts, then the fans are going to go nuts. They're going to call for his head, whether it's fair or not. And I think Jalen Hurts is fantastic, and I think that he will thrive under this pressure. But if he has another season this year like he did last year, it will start to look a little like Carson Wentz all over again, right? You have the peak, but then you just can't really get back there. And he's on a team where there's really no excuse for him to play well. And also the contract, he has to live up to that as well. So Jalen Hurts, he really needs to reestablish himself as an elite quarterback. You can order these guys however you want. I think they all have a lot to prove, but I think Jalen Hurts, with the expectation he set and the fan base that he plays for, I really think he needs to have another good year, or else he's going to start to get taken out of that elite. Like he has a lot to prove this year. He needs to really live up to that contract and prove that he's that really elite guy. Number 2, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, number 2. This is, again, similarly to Daniel Jones. Russell Wilson, if he doesn't play well, his career as a starter is over. He's still making the Hall of Fame, of course. He's still, all these things. But if he doesn't play well, Justin Fields is right on his heels, right? So if Russell doesn't play well, number 1, like it's similar to Jones. He's not really playing to validate a contract because he's not playing for Denver, but if he doesn't play well, this is more individual pressure. He's going to lose his job to Justin Fields, and he's probably never going to be a starter ever again. So I think Russell has a lot to prove this year, for sure. I think he definitely has a lot to prove this year, or else Justin Fields, like I said, he's taking his job, and Russell Wilson will find it very hard to become a starter again. And number 1, I think it's easy. It's Deshaun Watson. It's Deshaun Watson. They paid him a fully guaranteed contract, right? He's playing for a fan base similarly to like the Eagles, who have very high expectations. And if, again, he's under pressure to go back to the player that he once was, and if he doesn't, that contract, it's fully 100% the contract. He needs to, and plus he's got the team around him. There's no excuses for him not to play good. And if he doesn't play good, that will go down as one of the worst contracts ever. And he will really, the days of 2020 will be fully forgotten if they haven't already been forgotten. So I think Deshaun Watson is under the most pressure for himself and for that franchise, because if he doesn't step up, then that contract's going to look horrible. So that's my top 10 quarterbacks who I believe are under the most pressure to succeed and live up to expectations in 2024. All right. It was a tough list because certain guys have different things to prove, so it was tough. Yeah, imagine. Yeah, Jordan Love as well, yeah, I could see that. I thought of Jordan Love. I could see Jordan Love was kind of on the bubble. I can only have 10, so what do you mean? What do you mean? W what do you think? Who would you guys have put on there? I guess, but it's just for, like, his legacy as a player and for that franchise, he needs to deliver. No, it's top 10 quarterbacks under the most pressure. No, it's not. It's not top 10 quarterbacks. It's quarterbacks under the most pressure. If you, I mean, he's still a rookie, right? He's still a rookie, so I don't think there's. I think the head coach in there is under more pressure. Sneak peek, but yeah, I think next year maybe if he doesn't live up to expectations. Yeah, it was tough to rank them. They all have. Yeah, like again, it was a top 10. Like there's a few guys who do have a lot to prove quite that weren't quite on there enough, but Richardson, you could argue as well. Um, you could argue it. You could argue it for sure. It's tough. You can rank those however you want. You know. No, I just don't think the expectation is there. And I don't think the Ross like if Bryce Young, I guess you could put him on there, but if Bryce Young doesn't have a great year, I don't think people will be looking at him as the problem, if that makes sense. I think Allen is secured as a top 5 quarterback regardless, and I don't think the roster expectation is really there. The Bills, yes, but I think Josh Allen's locked in top 3 regardless. Yeah, yeah, that's my point. Nobody's expecting anything from Young. Appreciate it. It was tough. It was a tough list. You could have ranked it however you wanted. I thought about putting Lamar on there as well, but I feel like the 2 MVPs kinda cover him up. Pause. Yeah. Wow, I've never heard of that. Appreciate it, coach. I saw Bonjay comment and I was like, "What the hell?" So yeah, that's my viewpoint with Bryce Young. If he sucks, I don't think people will look at him as I mean, they might look at him as a bust, but I think it'll be more the roster. Okay, I can't tell which Anakin's fake because it's covering both of them have the red bit, the red dot, so I can't tell. Alright, we'll give it a couple more minutes. If you guys have anything more to say about the list, then we'll move on to the head coaches. Mm, just both of them. I think I have a feeling which one is and which one isn't. Well, that was funny. That was funny. Yeah, we'll do coaches in a minute. We'll do coaches in a minute. I just like to have a Kind of brace myself for the list. I know. It's crazy. Yeah. He's bad, man. They're a mess of a franchise right now. Sucks that Xavier Legate's play there. I believe you. I believe you. Okay. All right. Cool. All right, let's get into the let's get into the coaches now, who I believe are under the most pressure. Hold up. We'll find out. Find out. I just want to double check, make sure I'm happy with it. Again, this reasons might vary. Yeah, it's head coaches under. It's not specifically hot seat. There are other guys who aren't like their jobs are super safe, but their reasonings are a little. It's not all, oh, they're on the hot seat. Like there's other guys who might have pressure on them to get over the hump for certain teams, or else people will start questioning not their job security, but like if they don't win it this year, people will start to ask questions. It's not just job security. It was tough to make this list, but I think it's mainly the top like 6, 7 are hot seat. There's a few others that are for different reasons. I'll explain. Yeah, this is head coaches under the most pressure. Top 10 head coaches under the most pressure. I'll spoil alert. He's not. Dan Campbell's not on the list. He's not. Okay. Appreciate the 11 of you still watching. Appreciate it. Okay. Let's do this. Yeah, Dan Campbell ain't on there. He ain't under pressure. Well, he is under pressure. I don't think he's top 10 head coaches that are under pressure. Alrighty. Let's do this. Top. Alrighty, here we go. Top. This is once again on a tier list. Top 10 head coaches that I believe are under the most pressure in or entering the 2024 season. Alrighty. So number 10. Again, this is not just job security. I have Kyle Shanahan at number 10 simply because if the Niners don't get out of this kind of window with the Super Bowl, it's going to be viewed as a failure. And Kyle Shanahan, top 3, 4 head coach in the NFL. This again is not about job security, right? He does have a history of not being able to win the big game. And in order for him to get into the elite of the elite conversations, he needs to, in my opinion, win a Super Bowl this year. Again, it's not job security, but he's been a part of the 28-3 loss with Atlanta. He was up 20-10 in the Super Bowl, and he lost. He was up 17-7 in the NFC Championship game against the Rams, and he lost. And then he lost this last one, where he took the ball first in overtime, and that ultimately ended up being a killer decision. So Shanahan's going to be the head coach in San Francisco for as long as he wants, but ultimately he has the roster he needs to get over the hump, and if he doesn't get over the hump, fair or unfair, he'll be labeled as a guy that just could not get over the hump and wasn't good enough to get over the hump. So I think he's under a bit of pressure just to validate this whole Niners window. Not for his job, not for like his legacy's still great. But in order for him to get to that next level, he needs to win a Super Bowl this year. Similar logic applies to John Harbaugh because ever since that Super Bowl win with Joe Flacco, the Ravens have been massively disappointing in the playoffs. And I've listened to some Ravens fans, and they are starting to get a little frustrated with John Harbaugh. Like, why are they only running the ball 6 times in the AFC Championship? Like again, John Harbaugh. There's no excuse for him losing in the AFC Championship game last year. I feel like once again he's still a locked-in top 5 coach, but the Ravens are a team that has, similar to the Niners, been struggling to get over the hump, and they have been choking in the biggest moments a lot ever since that Joe Flacco Super Bowl win that he had. So I think John Harbaugh, he has the roster, he has his quarterback. There's no excuse for him, similar to Kyle Shanahan. I think the AFC is only going to get tougher as time goes on. And so, and especially after the way last year ended, it was extremely disappointing. I think John Harbaugh needs to cash one in simply, or else I've heard Ravens fans like they will opt to keep Lamar instead of John Harbaugh. So I think in order to validate his status as like a top 3 coach and to get the Ravens, I think he needs to get a Super Bowl. So Shanahan and Harbaugh are more validating this team's window than it is job security. Number 8, Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson, obviously Super Bowl champion. However, obviously then got fired by Philly. He's now in Jacksonville, and last year was a very, very, very big disappointment. It seemed like the Jags were going this way, and then last year just was a bump in the road. And if the Jags don't make the playoffs this year, he's going to be on the hot seat, right? He's absolutely going to be on the hot seat in Jacksonville. He has the quarterback. I think he's got a good enough roster to make the playoffs. And like I said, if he doesn't make the playoffs this year, the Jaguars will have really stalled, and his job, in my opinion, will come under question. He's a good head coach, but if he wants to get into top 10 conversations and to kind of get off, I think his seat could definitely get much hotter as the season goes on if the results don't come. So I think Doug Peterson's on there. Number 7, Brian Dable. Dable doesn't have much roster expectations, but he's coaching in New York, and if he has another 4-13 season, if like fair or not fair, if you have back-to-back 4-win seasons in the NFL, you're on the hot seat. I know he won Coach of the Year that one year, but he needs to at least steer this thing in the right direction a little bit. He needs to at least get to 5. He needs to get to 6, 7, 8 wins. I think that needs to be the result for Brian Dable, or else his seat will only be getting hotter. I know his roster isn't great, but if you have back-to-back real rough seasons like that, your seat's going to get hot. So I think Brian Dable is on there. Number 6, Dennis Allen. I think he's on the hottest seat in football. The only reason he's not a little higher is because the expectation for the Saints isn't quite there. But he's not been what they thought. And if he doesn't have a good season, he's fired. Like, there's just no doubt about it. I wanted to put him higher, but I also think there's a lot of other coaches who are in a similar position to him, and they're coaching much better teams that have higher expectations. But Dennis Allen, he needs to make the playoffs this year, or else the Saints are going to fire him. And I don't see him getting another coaching job if the Saints do fire him because of how his tenure's been in New Orleans. Number 5, Matt Eberflus. He's in a similar spot to Dennis Allen, except, with the reason he's similar to Dennis Allen is because he has not done anything in the NFL. But I think the pressure's on him more simply because of the roster he has. Like, he has his quarterback. He has, this Bears roster on paper should definitely win 9-10 games. And if he doesn't do that, that fan base, that rabid fan, that fan base is, again, starving for success. And if he doesn't deliver on expectations with this roster, because you can't blame the quarterback anymore because you got Caleb Williams, who's much better than Justin Fields. and he's got a top 10 defense, and he's got one of the best wide receiver trios. If they don't take a step in their direction, probably gets fired or his seat will be very hot. So I think Eberflus is top 5. Number 4, Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott. He's obviously a good head coach, but the clock is really ticking in Buffalo, and he's just come up short. Whether it's his defense giving up 42 points to Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, whether it's that debacle against the Bengals, whether it's last year going for a fake punt on 4th and 5 within your own territory when you had no reason to. He has not been the coach that they've needed to really get them over the hump. And considering he's a defensive mind, his defense does not perform nearly well enough in the playoffs. And if he doesn't make the playoffs again and win a couple playoff games, I don't see Buffalo keeping him. I think he's on the hot seat. When you have a quarterback as good as Josh Allen, there's no excuse to not make an AFC title game for 4 years in a row. And that fan base is going to, again, starving for some success. So I think he needs to deliver this year. He's under a lot of pressure. Number 3, Mike McCarthy. He's playing in Dallas. People are angry. People are ready to, the city's already about to burn, right? And the first person they're going to go to is Mike McCarthy. He won a Super Bowl, great, but I think a lot of people know that was more Aaron Rodgers. He gets the Cowboys job, and once again, similar to the Bills, there's just been debacle after debacle after debacle. Constant penalties, teams looking unprepared. I don't think there's anything as a coach he really does at a great level. And once again, the Cowboys are in a similar position to the Bills where they need to make a deep playoff run, or else Mike McCarthy's job will be his job will get taken. And with that fan base and with the expectations that they have in Dallas, I think he's really on the hot seat. He's really like, if he doesn't deliver, he's gone. So that's why he's number 3 on the list. Number 2, Nick Sirianni. I think Sirianni's under a lot of pressure this year, man, simply because there's a lot of stories coming out about him and Jalen Hurts potentially not getting along. And the way I understand he's been to a Super Bowl, fantastic, but the way that team fell apart last year, Nick Sirianni flat out lost the locker room. Like there's no two ways about it. And when you look at the roster he has, there's no reason for him not to be able to make another Super Bowl run. He has the quarterback, and when you look at he's got the offensive line, running back, weapons. They upgraded the secondary. Like he needs to have a good. He needs to really get the Eagles back to Super Bowl contention in my mind. And especially with that Eagles fan base, they're going to be wanting to run him out of town. They're already frustrated. They're going to be wanting to run him out of town if they don't deliver. And I definitely think that the way his team fell apart last year definitely raised those, a lot of questions. And I could see him easily getting fired if they don't live up to expectations. And number 1, this should be obvious. It's Robert Saleh. It's absolutely Robert Saleh. Again, hasn't done anything in his NFL career, but we've given him the pass, right? Because his quarterback play has been bad. No excuse. There's no excuse with Robert Saleh. It's succeed or you're gone. Aaron Rodgers is healthy. You've got an elite running back, an elite wide receiver. You've added to the offensive line. You've got the best defense in football. There is literally zero excuse for Robert Saleh not to have a great season. And if he doesn't, again, starving fan base, if he doesn't, it will be a massive, massive failure for the New York Jets. So I think Robert Saleh needs to deliver. And if he doesn't deliver and he gets fired, I don't see him landing another job simply because of if he doesn't deliver this year, it would have been 4 straight years of underachieving. So I think Robert Saleh is 1,000% under the most pressure to succeed this year. All right. Those are, in my opinion, the top 10 coaches who have the most to prove this year. All righty. What do you think? This chat, man. Yeah, I think Saleh's number 1 easy. Oh God. Yeah, McCarthy's on the hot seat. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Alex. Yeah, you can shuffle a couple around. It was tough. You'd put Shanahan up there more? Yeah. Yeah, Coach Boone, yeah. Coach Boone. I saw the Shanahan. Hold on a minute. You could argue Shanahan's up there more, but I just think he's already built up a good. I thought of McDaniel. I did think of my McDaniels. I did. I don't think Tomlin is. I don't know. They're gonna look at the quarterback there. I did think of Mike McDaniels though. He was right on the bubble. Booner needs to get his stuff together. He really does. He really does. Shout out to 11 of you still watching. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But I don't think he's top 10. I think I mean, his job security, I mean, are they really going to fire him? I know you could say just ran no reason. Hotspot messed up. Yeah. All right, hang on, people. Hang on. I hate when my phone does that. Hate it. I got that klutz. Man, it's like randomly my phone will just shut off. I'm frozen. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hang in there, people. Okay. Are we okay now? Might mess up again in a sec. Am I good now? Man, that's frustrating. Don't know why my phone does that. Man, I gotta figure that out. All right. Sorry, people. I'm gonna wait for a minute just to. Okay, we're good. I'm gonna wait for a minute just to see if it. Just to make sure before I move on to teams under the most pressure. Mm. It's not the phone. It's just my. For some reason, every once in a while, my phone will just randomly switch off. It's weird. Hopefully, I should be good. Apologies, people. Apologies, people. Should be good now. Okay. Mm, yeah, I agree with Shaq on Mike Tomlin. Okay. We should be good. Yeah, it's a hotspot. It has the best connection. Okay. I got me a bit nervous. Oh, jeez. Okay, shout out to 13 of you still watching. Wi-Fi should be good. Any more thoughts on the coach list? Would you put anybody higher or lower in there? Damn, we got 14 viewers in here. Do we all agree with Salah at 1? It's faster than the house Wi-Fi because the house I'm upstairs and the house Wi-Fi is down there, downstairs. So I'll figure it out. 15 people. Let's go. You know, Bill hanging out with his 16-year-old girl, 21-year-old girlfriend or something. No worries. Appreciate you're here. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Awesome. That's pretty dope. That's cool. It's not a hotspot issue, it's a phone issue. It's really annoying. Yeah, like, guys, it's not a hotspot issue, it's a phone issue. And now my camera's gone weird. This is great. Hmm. If I do that. Okay, we're good. Alrighty, we will move swiftly onwards. Just gonna make sure my team list is right. Alright, cool. Cool. Yeah, man. Shador goes to Dallas. He'd fit. It would just turn into even more of a circus. Yeah, imagine they hire Dion. Jesus Christ. They hire Dion and Shador's the quarterback. I think Shador's gonna go to Dallas. That's what I think is gonna happen. Man, that'll be brutal. I don't know if I'm having the best show, man. Damn. All right. Alrighty. So we're gonna move on to teams. Teams in general. Yeah, I could definitely see Jerry Jones doing that. Rolling. All right. We're gonna do teams now that are under the most pressure. Top 10 teams. Let me just make sure I'm happy with my list because I always doubt myself. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll get going. We will get going. Again, order, you can move around the order. I'm not really too worried about the order. Alrighty. Let's do this. top 10 teams that I believe are under the most pressure. Let's do this again. Tier list. Okay, cool. Appreciate you guys. Okay. Top 10 teams that are under the most, or I guess the way I should say it, 10 teams that are under the most pressure. That's the way I should have worded it. Damn, I'm an idiot. All right. The 10 teams that are under the most pressure to succeed in the NFL this season. 10 Bears. I think the Bears, similarly to what I said with Eberflus, they have the quarterback and they have the roster to win 8, 9, 10 games, in my opinion. And if they don't do that, then it will definitely go down as a very, very disappointing season. I don't think they have Super Bowl aspirations or anything, but I think they've been almost on the edge of being a playoff contender for a while. I really think they need to take that next step, or else questions will be asked. If Caleb Williams doesn't deliver, whether it's fair or not, because he's only a rookie, questions will be asked. If Eberflus doesn't deliver, he'll be fired. There's a lot of, and overall, the Bears, with the expectations that they have, they need to deliver at least 8, 9 wins, or else there's going to be changes made and there's going to be pressure added, whether it's fair or not, on to their quarterback, Caleb Williams, right? Yeah, exactly. Number 9, the Jags. The Jags, not long ago, it seemed as if the Jags were really about to run the South for a while. And now CJ Stroud came rolling in, and now he's looking like the king of the South. And the Jags, they need to regain that throne, or else Doug Peterson will start to come into question. Trevor Lawrence, their franchise quarterback, who was supposed to be like the next Peyton Manning, he'll start to come into question. A lot of questions need answered in Jacksonville, and they need to, at bare minimum, make the playoffs and push the what are they called, Texans, for the division. Or else, like I said, a lot of questions will be asked about head coach and quarterback. So I think the Jags, they need to step it up this year. 8, Dolphins. Again, Dolphins, they've been similar to the Bears, but on a bit of a higher scale. They've been on the brink of like winning a playoff game for a while, and it just hasn't happened. And they've now paid their quarterback. It's time to start delivering now. They need to win a division, or else it'll kind of just look like, okay, where are we going? It feels like, although last year was a great year, doesn't feel like they really went from point A to point B. They need to start making some progress. They need to win that division. They need to start winning some playoff games, because the Tua Mike McDaniel answer, no worries, coach. See you later. All right. But the Tua Mike McDaniel era will start to come to question a little bit if they don't produce an elite season this year. So I think the Dolphins, they need to really take control of that division in order to validate their expectations, and their quarterback specifically needs to really have a great year. All right, next up, Dallas Cowboys. Really did think of putting them higher, but once again, I don't think because their roster isn't quite as good, I don't know if the expectation is quite as high as the other teams. But Dallas, I mean, they play in Dallas. Their fans will say they're winning the Super Bowl, right? That just will always come with pressure. And again, they've been knocking on the door for a while. And if they don't deliver, the Dak and Mike McCarthy era will be over. You could argue that they could potentially see Dak walk out the door. CeeDee Lamb once paid. Micah Parsons once paid. Like, Dallas, the pressure's on for a lot of people in that building, or else you could see major, major changes happening in Jerry's world. So they need to, again, they've been stuck at like the divisional, the wild card. They need to get over that hump and prove that they are truly all in. They need to live up to those expectations, in my opinion. Number 6, Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are under pressure. The Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni experiment is under pressure to prove that 2021 wasn't, or excuse me, 2022 wasn't just a fluke, right? They've got the roster to do it. I just think that, and that's why, in my opinion, they're above Dallas, is because they have similar expectations. Their fan base has similar delusional expectations, right? But I think that they have the roster to really warrant that expectation. And I think that if they don't win the division somehow, if they somehow miss the playoffs, or if they go one and done in the playoffs again, the pressure will mount on certain people in Philadelphia, and a lot of things will come into question. And you know that fan base, they'll start freaking out. So I think Philly are at 6. Number 5, Baltimore Ravens. Again, similarly to the other teams, they've been knocking on the door for a very long time. And again, this is all about validation. In order to validate the Lamar John Harbaugh thing, they need to get over the hump. They really, because Lamar's contract will start to hit soon, and you'll see a similar effect to, like, the Bills, right? But I think that, again, there's no excuse. They've got the quarterback, they've got the defense, they've got the head coach. This team needs to deliver in the playoffs because they have not been able to get over that hump. And the AFC is only getting stronger, and you're not going to have many chances to make deep playoff runs with Patrick Mahomes in that conference, in my opinion. So I think the Baltimore Ravens are definitely top 5. They need to deliver a Super Bowl. Number 4, I have the Bengals. I think the Bengals, this will be the last of the Bengals as we know them, right? Because, I mean, maybe they'll sign T. Higgins, maybe they'll re-sign Trey Hendrickson, but I think they need to cash one in just to, like, if they cash one in and then they let T. Higgins go, it'll suck, but I think you could be okay with that. If they don't cash it in and guys start to walk out the door, it'll be a similar situation to where, like, the Bills are now, where their best window will have closed. And if they don't win a Super Bowl with Joe Burrow still on a cheaper, I know he signed the contract extension, but his contract extension, the cap hit doesn't really hit until, I think, next year, the year after. So I think the Bengals, in order to, again, I keep using this word, validate this kind of era of Bengals football, I think they need to get over the hump. They need to win one with Joe and Zach when they still have Chase, Higgins, and this offense the way it is, or else it becomes a lot harder to see them winning one if they don't have, if they or if they end up getting into the Bills position right now, right? Number 3, Cleveland Browns. The Browns, they've got one of the best rosters in the NFL. They've got one of the better head coaches in the NFL, and they've got a quarterback who really has a lot to prove this year. And as far as their roster, there's no excuse for them not to make in the playoffs. And if they made the playoff last year, if they take a step back a lot, this era of Browns football will really not be looked at in a positive light because of their quarterback, who they paid a fully guaranteed contract. If this doesn't work, it will set the Browns franchise back so many years. And I really do think that they're under a ton of pressure. I don't think the expectation for them to win a Super Bowl is there, but they need to validate the Deshaun Watson era badly, or else that contract will just start to look worse and worse and worse and worse. So, yeah, man, I think they need to deliver. Number 2, the New York Jets. The Jets, again, similarly to, I had Robert Saleh as number 1 on the head coaches under pressure list. I think Saleh and the Jets, there's no excuse for them not to deliver this year, in my opinion. They've got the quarterback, they've got the roster, they've got the defense. I think their division might be a little weaker this year. They need to capitalize on this Rodgers era. Like, they desperately need a deep playoff run, or else they're going to ask questions of the quarterback, and that coach is going to get fired. And it will be viewed as a colossal failure if they somehow miss the playoffs and they don't live up to expectations. So I think the Jets are under a ton of pressure this year. They need to deliver. And number 1, San Francisco 49ers, to me, are under the most pressure simply because if not now, when? Really. If not now, when? Kittle's only getting older. CMC is only getting older. Trent Williams is only getting older. Ayuk wants out. Like, this is really a big defining year for the Niners. Again, like I said, if they don't get it now, when are they going to get it? Right. So, Niners, and they're in a weaker conference, and this is probably the easiest it's going to get because I think the Lions are going to be here to stay. The Packers, Bears, Rams, Eagles, Commanders are on the come up. Like, this year will probably be the weakest the NFC is for the next 5-6 years, in my opinion. So I think the Niners absolutely need to cash one in, or else it will be a massive, massive, massive disappointment. And I don't see them getting back here after this year if it's not this year. So there you have it. That, in my opinion, is the top or are the 10 teams with the most pressure on them to succeed in 2024. I love this chat. This is hilarious. Oh my god. What do you guys think of the list? Like it? Cool. I freaking can't tell which one's which. Damn it. All right, I've got a lot of time left, a lot of downtime. Anything you guys would change? Anything? I'm struggling to find topics that will fill up the huge time slot. All right, which ones? Which ones? Which ones do you think? Lions, if they don't, I think next year they'll be on it. If the Lions don't win it this year, they'll be on it next year. Green Bay, I could see it. I don't think it's this year or bust for them like some other teams. So I had the Bears, the Jags, then Dolphins, Cowboys, Eagles, Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Jets, Niners. That was the list. If they didn't win the Super Bowl, yeah, but they've already cashed one in, so anything on top of it is just a bonus, in my opinion. I don't think Arthur Blank's there. Arthur Blank's in Pittsburgh now, right? I'm not sure. Yeah, Raheem Morris is there. Arthur Blank's in Pittsburgh now. I thought the Falcons. The Falcons were on the bubble because of the moves they made. They were on the bubble. Them and the Bills were. Oh shit! Oh god, I'm tripping. Yeah, Arthur Smith is who I'm thinking of. Oh yeah, yeah, I'm tripping. Arthur Blank. Yeah, yeah, I could. The Falcons were on the. They were on the. What's it called? They were on the chopping block. They were one of the teams I was considering. I wanted to put them in. I really did. Yeah, I'm tripping. Arthur Blank's the owner. Yeah, Arthur Smith's the. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was tripping there. Yeah, yeah. I thought Arthur Smith for some reason. I got them mixed up. Too many Arthurs. No, it's fine. It was me. Jim, yeah. I could see Jim. I could see Jim being there maybe next year. I don't think he's under massive amounts of pressure this year because I don't think the roster quite warrants. I did have an Anakin moment. I mean, They're just yeah, if they still had Russell, if this was last year, yes. They're not doing anything this year. Like nobody's expecting anything. You know, if that was last year with Russell Wilson, they'd have been on there. I wonder. Yeah, who are the 10 that are in here? I'm trying to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all good. If you guys are just listening, I appreciate it. I might. I'd play him. I'd definitely play him. I might. Crush him. I can't play defense though. But he'd definitely give me a few freebies. I'm struggling to find topics that are filling up the whole time slot that I'm planning on doing. What the hell's going on in the chat, man? I know who Red Dot is as well, which makes it funny. Yeah, I think everybody would. That last episode was jokes. Yeah, Rams. There's some guys that are on the bubble that have really impressed in the preseason. He really does. He really does suck. Guys like Omar Spates from LSU, undrafted free agent, Xavier Smith, wide receiver. A lot of competition for spots. A lot of guys stepping up, playing well. Stetson Bennett, very mixed bag. Right. I'll give you some. I'll give you the Rams. I'll give you the Rams stuff. As far as Stetson Bennett, it's been some good, some bad. He's shown flashes of being really good, but he just makes stupid decisions. And Jimmy G is suspended for the first couple of weeks of the year. So Stetson Bennett's our backup. I do not know if I trust him to go into Detroit and win a game if Stafford gets hurt in that game. Not feeling amazing about Stetson, but then again, he's been off for a year. As far as receivers, Jordan Whittington's been great. Oh, what the hell? Oh, Jordan Whittington's been really good. The 7th-round pick out of Texas. He's looked really promising. I think he'll definitely make the 53. I think it'll be Puka, Cup, Demarcus Robinson, Tutu. What's his name? Jordan Whittington, and then probably maybe Xavier Smith, the undrafted free agent who we got a couple years ago. That might be our wide receivers. Let me just check. Like a JJ Lapp with a catch. Oh, Tyler Johnson as well. Yeah, those would probably be our wide receivers. Definitely not. Definitely not. Top guy in the Rams, nobody knows about. Ooh. Look out for Tyler Davis. 6th-round defensive tackle out of Clemson. He was flying around against the Dallas Cowboys. He looked really good. Tyler Davis is up there. He looked great in the first preseason game. Jonah Jackson back at training. Jonah Jackson, in other news, Jonah Jackson and Stafford are back at practice. So I'm feeling good about that. Feeling great about that, in fact. That's facts, Xavier. So yeah, and even if he does. Hey, look at this. Matt Broder. What up? Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, Jonah's back. He got a little injured, got banged up, but he's back at practice, which is great to see. Same with Stafford. Seems like the preseason injuries that we had have kind of calmed down, which is great. Josh Carty looks good, the kicker. He missed one from 50, but he's 100%. Yes, sir. So we're doing. I always word my damn titles badly. I should have done the 10 under the most pressure, but I did top 10 that are under the most pressure. Eh. But Jared Goff was not on that list. Although you could have made an argument for him to be on there. But yeah, backup offensive line. Watch out for Bo Limmer, center of Arkansas, Logan Bruss or Bruce, don't know how you say his last name. Like that, I feel a lot more comfortable because a lot of people are saying, well, Jonah Jackson's injury prone. If he has to miss a game, I feel comfortable with our backups with the way they've been playing. I really do. I'm starting to been thinking about the time slot of this. It is very late over there. Hmm. All right, we'll do a mailbag. We'll do like a 5-10 minute mailbag, and then we'll wrap it up. This whole Anakin thing. This whole Anakin thing. The real Slim Shady. Oh my god. This is crazy. This is unbelievable. A lot. I'm trying my hardest. I do definitely spend. I'll just think of a topic and then I'll spend a couple hours going over like the list that I'm doing or whatever. I do admit I need to. I am working on it, being maybe a bit more disciplined with it because I get distracted very easily. So, but I spend enough. Definitely want to get a little better though. Still improving. 13 people at 8:15. Love it. It's fine, Anakin. Don't worry about it. I know who it is, which makes it really funny. So basically, Tyler, appreciate you tuning in, Tyler. It means a lot. I went over the 10 quarterbacks, coaches, and teams that I believe are under the most pressure to succeed this year. That was what we did. And for the number one, I'll give you the number ones. Number one for the quarterbacks. Who did I have a number? I'm an idiot. I already forgot. Who did I have at number one for quarterbacks? Deshaun Watson. For coaches, I had Robert Saleh. For teams, I had Niners. But that was the plan. Yeah, I've definitely got something like that. I cannot focus. Appreciate that. Appreciate the encouragement, guys. You guys are great. I am trying to let it fly, but I also want it to be decent, you know. I don't want to flunk. It'll be way easier to come up with stuff when the season begins, you know. I'm excited for that. Just gives me a lot of like anxiety because I'm used to being in like my comfort zone with doing stuff. And whenever I do something that's slightly outside of that, I get really like anxiety and like I start to have bad feelings. So that makes it harder to focus as well. So I'm still trying to figure it out. But should be. Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. 13 of you. The fake Anakin stuff kills me. Don't worry about being buttoned up. Look at Adam. Dude says what he wants, whether he's right or wrong. I respect it. Yeah, I'm not. I am trying to be slightly PG. I'm trying to control my swearing a little bit. Yes, sir. Any more mailbag? We'll do like 5, 10 more minutes. Just chat. What the hell are we talking about? Here. How's the show been going, Broder? How's it been going? I don't know if I want to give that away, Tyler. We got 15 in here. This is a night high. Huh. I could put some RAM stuff. Oh, I'm not much of a happy tears crier, but it was dope. It was sick. I will admit. I always look back at that time. I don't like looking back at it because I wasn't doing great at the time, but that made me happy. All right, we got the questions coming in. Rams record prediction. I'm thinking either 11-6 or 12-5. There's a couple of games I'm flip flopping on, but I think the floor, if everything goes wrong, 8-9, ceiling 12-5. I think 10, 11, 12 wins. I'm just going through the questions, guys. So give me a minute. Yeah, I am. I'm enjoying it. Doubting myself a little bit, having some anxiety about it, but it's been fun. I really appreciate everybody tuning in. I always feel pressure to do good because everybody's staying up so late. I've been thinking about it. I don't know. I'm not sure because I do like watching the games with like my family and stuff, and I don't want to become completely antisocial from them. But I might. I've been thinking about it. I have been thinking about it. Like we could stream during like the last Rams preseason game if you want. Yeah, man. I'm ready for it. I am ready for the heat. I love it. I love the back and forths. I love the drama. I love all the storylines. Love it. I am a cat dude as well. I won't lie. I am a cat dude. I prefer dogs slightly, but I'm a cat dude. Who has better numbers this year, Gibbs or Kyron? Gibbs will definitely, or excuse me, Kyron will have more rushing. Gibbs will have more receiving. I think Gibbs will have around, I think they'll have very similar total yardage. I think Kyron will have 14. I think there's no reason for Kyron to not have 1,500 yards rushing if he stays healthy all 17 games. It really depends on the amount of carries Gibbs get, but I'd probably say Kyron just because of usage. And plus his offensive line has gotten better, so I think Kyron will have. I know. I know. Me too. Me too. What is that specifically? Am I tripping? Oh, jeez. Yeah, I might. Hold on. I might have some that I could use. I have a Rams. Hold up. Stick. Oh no, wait. You guys can't see that. What about this? Put that there. Oh, it doesn't really show up. Yeah, I'll figure out the background. Will do. Will do. That ain't happening, man. My boy's got my back. I might do a fantasy league. I've been thinking about it. Wouldn't be the worst. I'm definitely gonna get him on the show. Definitely getting them on the show for sure. Uh, yeah, it would be cool. Um, yeah, if you can't watch it on TV, you could listen to me react to it. That'd be fun. Oh Jesus, the amount dude, this chat's active. It is. I'm excited for it. Yeah, I saw him do that to the Cowboys, dude. That was sick. I love that. And then he pointed to him when he was on the floor as well. Did you guys see that Cowboys defensive lineman just barged the Rams staff manager over? Wussy, man. Then he ran away like a coward. Idiot. Just fucking bull, like just for no reason. Just pushes the poor guy to the floor. Yeah. Most embarrassing thing that happened in football. One time when Joe Burrow was at LSU, his pants got pulled down and his cheeks were on TV. That'd be pretty embarrassing. Young Khalil Mack. Yeah. Yeah, that was ridiculous. I can't even remember who it was. Who was it? Let me look it up. Bush's intern, yeah. Albert Huggins just pushes him for no reason, and then he was out of there. I'm a bit disappointed nobody went over and decked him. I love Jared Verse as well. Him and Fisk, I like what they're doing. Yeah, Verse, he took his soul. He just bitched him. That was sick. We'll do a few more minutes. We'll get you guys out of here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys. He did. What did Quay Walker do? Oh yeah, he pushed. Oh yeah, he did do that. Was he the one that did it the season finale in 2022? Just pushed the dude over for no reason. Roman Gabriel, dog, absolute dog. Patrick Mahomes wishes he was like Roman Gabriel. Appreciate you, Alex. We'll do like 5 more minutes. Jesus Christ. Oh man. Yeah, man, that was rough. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. That was a that was a bitch move. That was a bitch move. He's a good player though. But yeah, that was definitely that wasn't a good move. A few more minutes and we'll wrap it up. Any more questions? Favorite player last name? Ooh, there's some good ones. I need to think about it. Deeper Kashaw. I like Haha Clinton Dix, but that's not really a last. It's not. It's kind of the whole name. Favorite player last name. Uh, what's the LSU Booty? What's his first name? He played for LSU. His last name's Booty. That's a Kayshawn Booty. Oh man, he plays for the Patriots now. That's a hell of a last name. I really don't see the Rams defense going to take a step back much. I agree. I think people the way they're looking at it, like I'm not going to act as if Donald not being there doesn't hurt, right? But I think they've done a very good job of compensating for it, and their secondary got better. So I think the Rams defense will be fine. I agree. Have you seen the NBA jersey swap where one guy's last name was Black and the other one was Dick, and they held it up and it was Black Dick. They held it up next to each other. That's my favorite one ever, man. That was fucking hilarious. Oh man, that's just yeah. Blows my mind that Dick is actually used as a name. I know that's his last name, but still, that was hilarious. There's no way they didn't know that. There's no way. There's no way. This chat, man. Lunatics. Every single one of you lunatics. Any more questions? If not, we'll head out. Appreciate the 12 of you still here. See you later, Xavier. All right, I think we'll wrap that up right there. I'll give it like 30 more seconds. See if there's any more questions. Yeah, top 10 in the ring. Dan Campbell will be up there for sure. Without a doubt. Campbell will be up there. I doubt. I highly doubt. because he's older and he already a little banged up. See you later, Anakin. Hang in there, buddy. I don't see Stafford playing in that game. I have not seen that. I have not seen that. We need Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts to swap after that first game and have it be Love Hurts. That would be cool. Okay. I think we'll wrap it up there. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. It means a lot to me. Shout out to everybody who joined. And yeah, I'm still thinking of the topic for tomorrow. I'll get there. But tune in tomorrow if you've got time, if you feel like it. And appreciate you guys tuning in. You guys mean a lot to me. I will see you tomorrow. Appreciate you. All right. See you tomorrow. Peace out. Appreciate you guys.